Morning, Ron. It is Sunday under the tomatoes here, and we got a lot that needs to get done in the garden. I have put off some maintenance too long, and now we've had some wind, we've had some rain, and we have things like this happening where the corn is just falling over. We have sunflowers falling over, we have tomatoes falling over. So today's the day. I cannot put it off any longer. I have got to get this garden maintenance done. So I'm gonna bring you along for the ride and just kind of show what, middle of summer. It is super hot out. I'm already warm and sweaty because I just went on a walk with Ari, but we got to get this done. It's the least glamorous part of being a gardener, and I think a part that doesn't get shown a lot. So thought I would just showcase some of the not so romantic parts of gardening. So let's get started. All right, here we go. So I'm going to kind of walk you through what I'm doing here and some additional thoughts about gardening this time of year while I play this in fast forward for you, because all told this is about an hour and a half worth of work here that I'm doing in the hottest part of the day, because it's the only time I had to do it. I was putting this off. I was hoping that I could make it a few more days until the temperatures start to drop before I really needed to kind of address anything other than just watering. But I came home from running errands and all of my corn was flopped over and my sunflowers were falling over and tomatoes were falling over, and there was no more ignoring that the garden needed a gardener. So I am giving everything a really, really good watering here. These grow bags take a lot of water. I think they're a great option for container gardening. I really love them. I've loved having them, but it was definitely a hard lesson I had to learn last year that they take more water than you think, because they are black, they dry out quickly, they heat up a lot. Also, they will kind of give you a little bit of a trick because they're felt on the outside essentially, and so once water kind of hits the side of the bag or the bottom, it will just start to drain out. And so I would give a plant a bunch of water and I would see it start to drain out, and so I would think that the soil was fully saturated, and the soil wasn't, because if that water is getting to the side or the bottom of the bag before the soil is absorbing it, it's just going to drain out. So something to keep in mind if you have grow bags or if you're interested in using them is to just keep an eye on that. Make sure that, the soil is actually getting saturated with water, and, it's going to take more water than you think it will. So I, a lot of times, will kind of dig a little reservoir into the dirt and fill that up and let it soak in, come back, fill it up again. You'll actually see me here at the end, come back through and give everything kind of another spritz of water. You got to make sure it gets below the surface of the soil, because water will always take the path of least resistance, and a lot of times with these grow bags that means flowing along the top of the soil and down and out, and not actually saturating. So something to note and keep an eye on there. I definitely spent the most time over here in this section. I needed to prune some of these zucchini. I had to figure out how to support these corn. And these tomato trellises aren't really the best option, but it's all I had, so it's what we went with. Also kind of harvesting as I go. You'll see me kind of put the hose down in a general area and let it kind of spray a section while I do some harvesting or some tying up or some pruning, just really trying to maximize my time and efficiency, because I want to be out here as little as possible. It's about 90 degrees with the heat index. It's been over that most of the week, which is why I hadn't kind of done anything in the garden beforehand, but we had to get it done. So here we are. You can tell in some of the ways that I'm standing when I'm watering that I'm tired. I'm standing in really poor posture. I actually ended up getting a little bit of a sunburn. I wanted to get inside as quick as possible. So I, could have taken a little bit more time to do things more thoroughly. I could have, pruned some other things But I really just went for what absolutely had to get done because it was hot and I did not want to be out here. And I feel like that is the part of gardening that so often doesn't get shown or talked about, is the days where the garden is no longer romantic to us, where it's just hard work and it's a lot, it's overwhelming. It's no longer the excitement of watching plants grow in spring or harvesting that very first tomato or anything like that, though I do get my first cucumber later on. But it's hot, it's hard, it feels a little wild and unruly. I wasn't sure what I was going to do about the corn. I wasn't sure how I'm going to tie up these sunflowers, but we just gotta, be creative and come up with solutions and go from there and do what we can with what we have available to us. And so, I, in this moment, was definitely just trying to get inside as fast as possible versus, some other mornings where it's not this hot and the garden is not this unruly, where I feel like I could spend hours out in the garden and not get bored and not get tired of it. But, it's all relative. And I think a lot of people kind of give up, or they feel bad that they are no longer excited about the garden when it comes to tasks like these. But this is me saying you are not alone. Even though, the garden brings me so much joy, there are times where it's just not as exciting and it's not as much fun, and it's just about doing what needs to get done and falling in love with it a different day. So we are tying stuff up, we are watering as fast as possible. And again, all of this took me about an hour. So if I had done it kind of very thoroughly, it probably would have been a couple of hours. But today was not about slow meandering and tending. It was about speed and efficiency.
Finally!
Also, when it comes to this corn, I'm not entirely sure kind of why they're falling over, if it's because they're not close enough together to support each other, if they're just too tall, too heavy. So if anybody knows what is happening, if this is normal in a garden like this, let me know in the comments.
Whew, it's hot. I'm trying to stand in the shade so that I can see the camera a little bit, but it's not working very well. But yeah, we did it. We got everything tied up. I've been out here for a little over an hour. Not sure how long the video will end up being once I fast forward all of that and probably add some voiceover, but it's not glamorous. This is not the best outfit I've ever worn, but it's got to get done, and it is done. I got my first cucumber out of the deal. So excited for that. And now I'm gonna go inside and drink a lot of water, take a cool shower, and relax. So this is your reminder that even on the really hot days where we don't want to be out here as much as we love our garden, we can still do hard things.